Republican Congressman Peter Roskam with us right now. He's from the state of Illinois. Congressman, good to have you.
Thank you, Neil. Good to be with you.
What do you make of this?
I think we're going to be talking about something else in 30 days, and it's not this nominee. I think it's a lot of action and anxiety and conversation, but when it comes down to it, this nominee, in my view, is not going to get the time of day from the United States Senate. They made it very clear from the get-go, and this is part of President Obama's legacy, frankly. He's created so much anxiety and animosity on Capitol Hill. I would argue much of it of his own making, that they're just not willing substantively to consider a nominee, and they've made a decent argument as far as I'm concerned. That is, let the country decide.
All right, well, the country elects you guys to finish terms, presidents to finish terms, and I definitely see what you're saying about how this has been mishandled politically in the past by Democrats, and prior to that by you guys as well. Wouldn't this be a great opportunity to say, let this process go forward? We don't like Merrick Garland. We don't approve Merrick Garland. End of story.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the nature of the argument, but there's also a clear precedent here, and I think that there's just not that much trust on Capitol Hill with the Obama administration.
Well, how would you feel, Congressman? I understand your point, sir, and you're a respectable, honorable patriot, but how would you feel if a Republican were elected, and in the 4th year of his term, he was essentially done? We don't entertain any big, serious decision you make because, well, you're a lame duck.
There's a lot of precedent to that, and they're called lame ducks for a reason, diminishing influence and so forth. And my prediction is, in 30 days, we're going to be talking about a lot of other things.
Well, by that definition, then we might as well end terms a year earlier, right?
Pardon me?
By that definition, we should end terms a year earlier. I guess that would be dangerous because we'd make the last year earlier a lame duck.
Yeah,
why don't you just work up to the last day of your term?
So run through the tape. Here's why. Because this nominee is so crucial for the disposition of the court. He's going to have a generational influence. There are First Amendment issues that are
but what
at stake.
What if you regret what you just did here? What if it's a Hillary Clinton who comes in and says, you know, I've thought about this. I have a far more left-leaning pick. Let's say hypothetically you lost the Senate, and all of a sudden Democrats are in control and approve a far more liberal judge.
Hey, this is all about trying to make the right calculation at the right time. So I stipulate that there's no guarantees. I do think, though, that in 30 days we're going to be talking about another topic and that this story won't be a story.
But after November, you could be talking about a far more liberal justice, having far more lasting influence, and maybe far more an effort to your views, Congressman, than
you
this
could.
guy.
But, I mean, you're also, I think, going to be seeing the nature of this discussion coming forward and the turnout discussions on the Republican side in particular. And you'll hear it from the Democrats, too. But I think there's going to be a level of intensity this November that both sides are going to use to drive to say, hey, you've got the opportunity to really shape the court, arguably, for a generation. But I take your point. There's no guarantees. But my sense is Mitch McConnell and the Senate majority has made it clear up front what their disposition was, and the president is entitled to nominate, but they're entitled to dispose of this as they wish.
All right, Congressman, thank you. We'll see what happens. So roll the dice, as you say.